Post-processing, something that looks complicated, but in reality it's super simple and can make your renders look like you actually know what you're doing. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to post-process your renders and make them look like you're not just some kid who's sitting in front of a computer placing objects in a scene. I have this scene right here that I made today, and it's not a simple scene. It's got quite a lot of geometry, since I had to do some displacements and stuff. But this is what it looks like normally, with all the lighting and everything, and it looks pretty good like this. But it's missing some, okay? It's missing some. There's just something that could be there that's not there, and you want to make it pop, okay? So I'm gonna be teaching you how to do this. I'm gonna be teaching you how to do this in Photoshop, but there's a free alternative that I'll leave in the link in the description called Krita, and it's just an art and drawing program that I use sometimes. It's basically the same concept that I'm doing here, but the shortcuts might be different, so you're just gonna have to look those up. But we're gonna be doing it in Photoshop, and this is what our end result is gonna be like except for this glare right here, because this glare was something I did in Blender, and I closed Blender, so I can't get that render layers back because I don't know how. But aside from that glare, I'm gonna be teaching you my workflow and everything on how I do this. So let's get into it. So first off is I'm going to open my trains picture, which is just trains. Okay, so I have my trains right here, and you can see it's missing a lot. It's like dark and everything. You can't really see anything, so we're gonna fix that. So first thing I like to do is I like to go up here to adjustments and add a color curves and just brighten up the shadows a little bit. Maybe bring down the midtones, bring up some highlights, just kind of brighten up the image a little bit so it's not just so dark and everything, because usually when I render something it'll be dark. So this is what I like to do first, is just brighten up the image. Second thing is I like to add my dust. Okay, now I'm a big fan of dust in images, especially these like room images that are like supposed to be in like a small room or something that have like fog and volumetrics in them. Because if you have a scene like this in real life, you're gonna have some dust particles and stuff floating around, like you're in an attic or something, and they're gonna be floating around. So I just have some dust images. I'll leave these in the link in the description if you want to download the exact textures I'm using. But if you don't, you can just literally look up like dust images on Google, find anything that's there. And so yeah, so basically I'll just go place linked, and if I look up dust, and I'm gonna open this one it's this one. So basically I have this here, and you're gonna want to switch over here on this which is normal. Just change it to lighten, and then it'll give you this dust. So I'm just going to move this here, kind of over here, and I'm going to Control C and Control V, or Control C, Control V to duplicate this layer. And then if I just go up here to edit and then free transform, I can flip it around and have some more dust over here. So that's our first layer of dust, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of atmosphere. Now for a second layer of dust, which is going to be the more intense dust that's over here in this corner that you saw right here. So the way we're going to do that is if we go into place linked, and then I go on my dust, and it's dust 3 that I have it on. And I just place that, and I just bring it over here to this corner, kind of right here. And then I go into, it's either overlay, is it overlay? Should be overlay. Nope, it's not overlay, it's a lighten. Aha. Alright, so lighten gives you this effect, and I'm just going to kind of put it over here in the corner. And so now that we have this, it's way too bright. So the way we get around that is we add another color curves, but this time if we just leave this here, you can see it just darkens the whole image, and we don't want that. We want it to just darken or adjust this. So if you come over here and hold Alt on your keyboard and hover in between this line on the two layers, you'll get this little like block with an arrow pointing down, and that creates a mask, clipping mask, and it basically just adjusts that layer now. So you don't have to worry about it messing up anything else. So basically, if I just bring some of these like down like this, kind of like that. Next thing I'm gonna do, so now we can see that it's a little bit less bright. So if I just turn this off, we can see it just kind of dims it down a little bit. Now if we click on the dust layer, the dust 3 layer, I'm just gonna turn the opacity down to maybe 30. Oh, oops, 30. Maybe 40. Yeah, something like 40 to 50, something like that. That's good. So now we have that. And so that's basically that. So now we have this dust in here, which is cool. So next thing I'm gonna add is something called film grain, and I'm just gonna place linked and just look up, or I have it saved as film. I'm messing up on my typing. Film grain, and what I'm basically just gonna do is position it in this corner and just scale it up using the free transform, and it should automatically just do this, but if it doesn't, just go to edit and free transform. And then I'm just gonna hit enter to have this. And what I'm gonna do here is if I go and put it on overlay, you can see that it now overlays it. So it's not a huge noticeable difference. Cannot. You're not letting me zoom in. Oh, it's because I'm holding Alt. It's not a noticeable difference, but right here, you can kind of see it a little bit. Just gives it a little bit of grain. It's not, like I said, it's not a huge difference, but it kind of makes it like that. The other thing that I want to do, also add a vignette. I don't know what it's called. It's on the screen, I think, if I remember to edit it. But we select our original image layer and then go to filter, and then convert for smart filters, and then just click OK on this. And then if we go to filter and then lens correction, if you took this picture with an actual camera, then just make sure that geometric distortion is unchecked. But since this is not taken with the camera, then this is grayed out. Just go over to custom, make sure remove distortion is set for 0. So just add a vignette, just kind of bring it down a little bit, and then turn the midpoint down to where it's like that. Then click OK. So now we have this vignette, which is cool. Now what I'm going to do is add scratches. That's what I'm going to add. If I go and click place linked and then just look up scratches, and then you can see that we have these like film scratches and stuff. I'm just going to position these to where it covers the whole image, and then I'm just going to put it on lighten. So now we have this. I'm basically going to do the same thing that I've done for other things. Someone's mowing outside. I apologize if you can hear that, but I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna add a color curves, or curves, and then Alt, click right here and create a clipping mask. And I'm just going to bring all of this down a little bit. Maybe bring that up a little bit. Maybe like that. Alright, so that looks good. Then if you want, you can add a hue saturation node. Saturation will just... The reason I didn't add a hue saturation node in this was because this glare node actually gave it a lot more saturation. But in this one I don't have that glare node, so I'm just going to increase the saturation in Photoshop. So don't increase it a lot, but just to where it gives it a little bit more color. So now we have this, and I'm actually going to change this curves and make these a little less transparent, or a little less apparent that they are you know, there. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, so now we have this cool looking image, and I might actually change the dust down to maybe 40%. I might even say 35. You don't want the dust to be like too apparent, but just that it's there. All right, so that looks pretty good compared to this one. I think it looks pretty decent. Obviously, they're not the exact same because this one actually had a glare node and it kind of changed the lighting a little bit. But apart from that, that's basically how I post-process my images. If you guys need any, if you guys have any questions or anything, then make sure to leave them in the comments below. Also, go ahead and join my Discord in the link in the description. I'm lonely there, and if you guys want to just hang out and talk or ask questions about Blender or Photoshop or anything, then feel free to join. You guys are welcome to post any art you make there or anything. Yeah, that's it for this tutorial, guys. My name's Viz. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you learned something. Bye.